All right, everyone. Well, welcome and thank you so much for joining me this evening for the Winter Solstice transmission with Elohim. And yes, once again, I don't know if I'm just not paying attention when they're calling and trying to tell me something, or if they just get these ideas in their head. So I have no idea. But once again, Elohim stated that I needed to do a winter solstice transmission, and it's kind of interesting. I just kind of blanked out. I'm sorry, my mind just totally drew a blank, probably because I wasn't supposed to say something I was supposed to say, or wasn't supposed to say, or wasn't important, one of the two. So what was coming through a little bit is about dissolving knots. And envision it like this, like there are these threads that weave their way through our lives from the moment that we are born, from each individual experience that we have. There are these threads that are woven into the beautiful tapestry that we call life. And in the weaving of these threads, I want to call, like, sometimes there are more negative occurrences, circumstances that happen. There's distortions in energy. There's things that happen to us. And they refer to these as knots. And so it's really about then coming in with whatever it is that they're providing this evening to dissolve these knots. Okay. And so you can envision those knots as being things that occurred in the past or even at this present time that are influencing your life in such a way that you are not able to move forward in your life. Maybe you are feeling like you're blocked, right? Or there's just some resistance that you're not able to get past. But it could also, and much more readily, be things that happened in the past that are still serving as an influence in your life. And it can influence, things can influence you positively, but in a negative way, in that it's really something you need to move past, or it's keeping you from flowing freely through your life, becoming who it is you're meant to be, or it's keeping you from doing those things that you're meant to do in this lifetime. But that doesn't necessarily, just because you are being kept from doing those things, doesn't mean that you're having a horrible life. You know what I mean? So what this is then is really about helping you to filter through those things and releasing the influences, either positive or negative, that are keeping you from moving forward in your life in such a way that you are then accomplishing or moving towards accomplishing your soul's true path and purpose. So we can go through life from, existing from an old paradigm where we have all of these old patterns and beliefs and so forth that are serving us, and in a positive way, they're serving us, but we are this far away from actually being who it is we're meant to be, or doing what it is that we are meant to do in this life. And, what Elohim keeps telling me is that everyone that is alive right now in this life, having this lifetime together, collectively speaking, is supposed to be here. This is a really auspicious time to be alive and to be here, meaning you are here on a soul mission. What is that soul mission? I can't necessarily tell you that, but we want to make it so we're creating an access point for you that will help to reveal those things that have been hidden, those things you've been pushing down or kind of bypassing, right? And that's really kind of goes back to the dissolving those knots, right? The vision the vision that's coming forward right now that they're showing me is, you know how you have a sweater and you got one of those little threads that stick out or something, or a little ball of wool, and you start, you start picking at it and you start pulling it, and all of a sudden there's a hole, and then you're trying to shove it back in, the hole gets bigger, and so it's kind of like we're looking for those little edges that were never tied off, because I think the reason, and I think people who ever crocheted or knit or whatever, or even sew, will probably know what I mean. When you have a thread or a piece of yarn or whatever, you haven't tied off, right? Then it's just kind of sitting there. And it's not, it's something that hasn't reached completion. So we'll just say that knot, when you tie it off, it's reached completion. It is then serving a purpose as part of that being woven into part of that tapestry of life, right? But if it's just this errant little thread that's there, that it's like something that you've left behind, something that you haven't taken care of, something that hasn't come to fruition, hasn't been completed. All of those things need to be, and I'm going to insert, one of the things that a lot of people don't complete is emotions, right? So those things that have not been able to come to completion in our life are always just winding around in our heads, right? And sometimes they go back, into the background, and then something happens and you're triggered or what have you, and then it's winding around in your head again. Or you feel it in your body. Often we have emotions that get trapped in our body, and it creates symptoms, right? And so we're kind of looking for those things, and especially those little packets of emotions. Those are things that have happened in the past when there's maybe been trauma or arguments, or it can be physical, emotional, mental, spiritual, energetic, right? One of the things that happens, though, it can get trapped in your body. And let me admit a couple people here. There we go. It can get trapped in your body because you never allowed it to be fulfilled, to come to fruition. And often those emotions, I don't know why they're really focusing on emotions right now. So they're kind of looking at everyone as a whole. So we will have emotions that might have been trapped physically from our past experience. And so different things will trigger those emotions to come up. And I bet all of us, and you could raise a hand, because I bet all of us might have a situation and you might get teary-eyed, or so you might get angry, something will happen and you're like, oh gosh, I don't even know why. I don't know what this is, right? Those are often, and I will say again, please make sure that you are muted. I just muted someone. Okay. So those are the kind of emotions that get triggered, that come up. And then, if you're in a meeting or something where you don't want to sit there and start crying, right? So you push it back down. And the more that we push those emotions back down, the more that they just keep coming back, right? And it tends to be that as they start coming back, they're even stronger than they were the first time. Which means that those are the things that need to be able to come up so that we can basically fulfill that. And so, with my clients and students, I'm always saying, they'll say, oh my God, I feel teary, I cry. I'm like, cry, right? Because crying is cleansing. So we want those emotions to come up. So apparently there's a lot of emotional entrapment. I have no idea. But generally they'll come forward and I'll get these inspirations to speak on something because it is something that's prevalent within the group. The other thing is really about dissolving knots in relationships. And they're saying relationships. So it's really about being in the past, being unable to speak our truth. And when we can't speak our truth, then it diminishes us. Not only is the person that we feel we can't speak to or is disallowing us to speak is diminishing us, but we are also diminishing ourselves because we won't speak, right? We have that fear of speaking. So there's also a lot of that going on. People not, it sounds really simplistic, but it's really about when you're put in different situations, not feeling capable of speaking your truth. And now is a time when it's so important in our lifetime, our lifetimes here, is to be able to speak our truth, to be able to be heard. And you can look out and see what's happening in the world, what's happening in your life. And there's so many people that have been unable to step forward and speak their truth. And we need people to be able to step forward and speak their truth now more than any time in the recent past. I wouldn't say history because there's been a lot going on in the past, right? And so that's one of the things. And the other thing is that's coming forward in the group is a sense of incapability or unworthiness. So feeling that you are unworthy of doing something that you desire to do for whatever reason. There can be many reasons. Or feeling incapable, that you are not enough, you don't have enough education, you don't feel like people respect you enough, whatever it is. Okay. There is a feeling of also feeling like, I really want to do this. I feel inspired to do this, but I also don't feel capable of doing that. So that's one of the things that is coming forward. The next thing for the group is disillusionment. So and what they're showing is like you're on a high about something, right? You're really excited, but then something happens within your life or just within the world and you become disillusioned, right? So that's also prevalent. So we will work with that in our transmission. Anger. Okay, anger is the other thing that's coming forward. It's not necessarily with anger outside of self, but also anger within self. So trying to find the words for this. So it is, one is forgiving self, right? And forgiving self for feeling certain ways. So there can be a part of you that doesn't, how do I put it? That's not in alignment. Like I could be sitting here going, oh, I know I can do that. But then a part of me is like, no, you can't. But I know I can do that. Right? So that there's this kind of inward fight that's going on. And so that is there to some extent, and anything else. Heart. So then we return to the heart as well. Being hurt is one. There's some pain. I can see sparks of that. But there's an understanding that your heart is the key tool for your progression forward in the world. The heart is how Spirit speaks with you. The heart is how you commune with God. So the heart isn't just keeping you alive in the sense that, it keeps beating. Yeah, we all want that, right? It just keeps beating. But it is also like the gateway into the spiritual world, into our inner tuition. Intuition. We just paid my daughter's tuition. But it's like the gateway to intuition. So there's something about heart opening. So when these other knots are dissolved and released, what happens is there can be a heart opening, but it's also about a revealing of things that you didn't realize were there because they were veiled in some way, shape, or form, right? And so as we open up and shift these energies within you, then as they clear and move aside, or even just if they become dimmer, it begins to reveal something from within you. So this then is really about you becoming more of who it is that you, capital Y-O-U, are. and not what other people expected you to be, right? And so it's really about making that shift so that as we began, obviously there's so many people awakening, right? And it's really about, I don't like the word, I can't find another one, but we're talking about our ascension, our humanity's ascension. And really, it's more like a descension, if you want to say, because we're coming down, more of us is coming down into this physical vessel, because we're being allowed to ascend in physical flesh, in physical form, so that as we begin to embody more of the truth of who we are, right, we can't discount the physical body because we're merged with this flesh. This is how we traverse the earth plane. This is how we are able to move within physical life. But at the same time, our higher I am presence or soul essence then is desiring to come down and be honored, because we have to have all of our aspects in alignment: physically, emotional, mental, spiritual, energetic, right? And a lot of people kind of push the spiritual energetic aside because they don't feel it has a place in just their everyday mundane world or the work that they're doing. But we want to pull that in because that is the truth of who you are. That is how we effectively operate. So if we were a computer, we have to have all of the software and all the files in alignment, or whatever you want to call it. I'm not an IT person, but we want everything in alignment so that the computer, this instrument, is working properly. And part of that fueling, as it were, is the spiritual energetic aspect. So when we have everything into alignment, then it begins to open us up for that light of God self, that God force, to begin to flow down, and for us to more deeply embody our I am presence, our soul presence, so that our God self is desiring to be the reflection we have out into the world, right? Our God self is desiring to be expressed out into the world. So that then is where we are coming to, right? That is the process of ascension, as it were. And somebody had asked me a question the other day, and I would say this, it was interesting because they were talking about being spiritual, right? But they were feeling inept in their spirituality because they were looking at all of these other people that are like really out there in the mainstream doing all of this work and so forth. And I would say, no, that doesn't matter. Don't look at what they are doing. They are doing what it is they are meant to be doing. So it's really about, what are you meant to be doing? There are people that are highly spiritual that you never see anywhere, right? Much less in the limelight, but they're just lending this higher frequency to the world silently, right? There are people that are highly spiritual that are teachers, and that spiritual energetic aspect of them assists in helping them to teach, right? And get their words, teachings across to their students. So spirituality, when we talk about bringing that into alignment, is part of who we are, and it can show up in many different ways. Not just that you see in the limelight, right? We are all spiritual. So I want you to understand that there isn't some kind of level that you need to reach. It is simply who it is that you are, right? Where do you find your joy and happiness? What makes your heart sing? Do you follow those divine inspirations, right? And you allow yourself to live your life from that aspect, then you are on your path, right? If you're enjoying your life, you are on your path, right? And that's what that means. All right. So this transmission then is about dissolving these knots, clearing away those things that are influencing you in a way that is disallowing you to move forward. All right. We have a latecomer coming in. There we go, just in time. So, let me see. Ooh, hello from Toronto, Canada. Hello. So again, hello everyone. Take one more look. Make sure that you, I will check here. Okay, I'm going to mute her. Make sure everyone's muted. Yes. Excellent. Okay. So, you can, and this one I'm pinned, so it is going to be recorded. So if you definitely don't want to be recorded, but I will let you know, it's going to be recorded only for the people that that have registered with a donation. So if you have registered with a donation, you will receive a replay of this event this evening. And so I want to let you know it's not going out into the wilds of the universe. All right. There we go. And I'm pinned. Good. So I would ask then that everyone could make yourself comfortable. And if you have an intention, if you know that there is something that you're struggling with, and again, physical, emotional, mental, spiritual, energetic, doesn't matter, you can bring that forward first and foremost in your mind's eye. And just hold it there a moment, right? If it's a circumstance, you can kind of do a little video of it, right? And just make it clear to you that it's my intention that I desire to let this go, right? And you don't need to know what's going to take its place, because you're creating space. You're creating space for your higher light, right? And as you create space for your higher light, then that is what fills that space, right? So envision yourself as a container, what Elohim calls a holy sepulcher, and just envision that light pouring in. You might feel sensations in places in your body. People have all different, you might feel emotions. Anything and everything that you experience is perfect, right? All right. So we are good to go. Excuse me. Take a sip of water before I do it. So, take a few deep breaths in and out. Feel that breath flowing through the body. Feel the body move, expand, contract with that breath of life. And each time you exhale, let it go, relax. There's nothing to do. Just be open and allowing to whatever is meant for you to receive. The transmission will begin. humbare gerengere torum, humbare gere hungere torum, humbare. Orare ambere kusundre riamande torum, norie bere masundre bere torum, naroro tundre bere suro, namare bere tagadere tundoro, sambare gadu tundre himandaro, mandatere kinye mamagante turi pondro hier, mandare ingando ture sundoro, simbiegere menena naturando ture oro, ammare gene mamaturande mama ke hinde me toro toro risedi gere am gana matore oro mamarere ngejura dore sun barere namamagendo turus pandacerium haradutore maniere gamaturo no manene gareturo motura shandare narandare neratur mama maderinga haram anmaringe surotore namama yeda mature ramasuchere neturor miara matore namere ora kere samanyara turona keri batutun saya papa kachichem. Shipikira tu ya mama pakere chanda chiara chondre bisha pangan tundre ti. Mama magaria pakayera maturiere sindere kadur chambayera tatatandere. Aria mamotore bende chiara hong. Maniere kere singere tur hong. Iresire pikatutundu topoire pesukum. Gadara papa katutu chure pe pipindi. Suko yamanaje suko odun. Sapaira pakatutu kotun. Nare beira pakatutu kotun. Beri pakoto to kontes pistura. Mai bekatu. The transmission is complete.